What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode. Coach Joe here with Heartletics.com. I'm joined by my best friends, Coach Mark, Coach Jimmy, and today we're going to be sharing with you guys on the Heartletics podcast all about accountability. And most importantly, the importance of having somebody to hold you accountable or different tips and tricks on how to even hold yourself accountable. Because at the end of the day, let's face the facts here. You need either people in your corner or you need to have a different mindset to really get you one step closer to your goals. And we understand that's going to be hard, right? Nobody's going to say it's going to be easy, walk in the park. No, we understand that anything in life worth having is going to require some sacrifice, some discipline, but having the proper mindset and some different tools or people in your corner to help hold you accountable is going to be giving you all the support to make you achieving your goals easy, effortless, and most importantly, realistic. Coach Mark, let's go with you first, brother. Why don't we dive into a little bit more about accountability? Because I know there's some personal things that you want to share.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, before we sort of, move over to community helping you be accountable and all that, the first step is you have to take some accountability yourself. And I mean, I'm in a position now, right, where you're having found Heartletics, right? Initial 12 weeks, I lost 37 pounds, all, up till now, 90 pounds, but that wasn't, always my story. I lost my dad when he was 57. I was in college. And, that kind of, it kind of put me in a belief system that that was my inevitable future. Because, I saw, my dad was not, physically in good shape. I mean, he had other factors, but, he was out of shape and he had, heart problems and things like that. And I just kind of saw, this is my dad. This is where, this is my role model. So this is clearly where I'm heading. And then you kind of couple that with some other self-limiting beliefs that I had, right? Like, I was never a sports guy. I've talked about that before. So I just kind of had this belief that I could not be a physically active person. It just wasn't who I was. So those two things together made it very easy for me to just say, well, I can't do this. I can't get in shape. I can't lose weight. I can't, change who I am because I have a path ahead of me and that's it. And I think it's really important to say, like, no, like I control what's coming down the path. I have influence and impact on that. And, so finally something just clicked in me where I said, like, no, like I don't want to be on this predetermined path. I want to find a way to forge my own path. And now, not only do I forge my own path, but I'm leading others down it. So, that's kind of where I think accountability begins. But, once you start down that path, then you need, when you've found it in yourself to head that way, then that's where you need, systems and community and everything behind you to help you continue in that direction.
Yeah, and I actually remember, Mark, I think it was either before we had our discovery call or right in the middle of our discovery call. I remember you telling me about your father, right? And I remember telling you, right, kind of helping you break those self-limiting beliefs within your own head. Like, hey, at the end of the day, genetics only play anywhere from 60 to 70% of that being inaccurate, right? So it means that realistically, 20 to 30%, right, is genetics. Let's just
Right.
take the max of it, right? That's, let's just say, 30% right there. That means 70% is still in your hands-on control, right? Ball's still in your court. And I remember telling you that and kind of sharing with you the different article that went over that. And I can just tell that your eyes kind of lit up a little bit. You're like,
The
wow,
light bulb went off. Yeah.
exactly. It's just, and so that was, I guess, that first form of accountability also was even before you were a member, kind of helping you break those self-limiting beliefs. Because a lot of guys have those self-limiting beliefs about themselves, whether it's genetics or whether it's just like, hey, I was never in shape, I was never an athlete, anything like that, to where they're kind of, predestined their own path out there, which is the furthest thing at all, because you can change your life, as you know, with just one simple decision. It all requires just commitment, and then maybe some people holding you accountable to support you on that. Now, Jimmy, you want to share a little bit also about a personal side when it comes down to accountability and how it kind of affected you and helped you out.
Absolutely, yeah. So, what I want to talk about is, more of taking some accountability as far as looking inward instead of outward. When I started my journey with Heartletics, I was 430 pounds. And, I've been on a journey since. I'm down 130 pounds now. But before that, to get to the point to where I was taking these steps, you kind of have to get to the point where, okay, I have to stop blaming everything else that's around me. I need to stop blaming, any situation you're in. You have to start looking at yourself. How did I get where I'm at? What did I do to get here? And everything that you've done in your life has gotten you to where you're at. And that's the choices you made, not somebody else, not an outside force. You made every choice, that puts you where you're currently at. And when you realize that and you take responsibility, that's when you're ready to start making these changes. And, and that's being a good example for your kids, making yourself healthier, being a more positive person and a better just person in society, and helping other people change their lives. And another thing I wanted to touch on real quick was going through this journey. You guys know my story. I won't get too in depth, but I started having some marriage trouble. And, a lot of times when you get into that situation, you're looking to blame the other person. Look what she's doing to me. This is the reason why. And you're just feeling sorry for yourself, feeling negative and putting everything on something else. But you have to look at yourself and the part you played and where you're at in your relationship, and look back and say, okay, and reevaluate, look inward. What have I done in this relationship that made us separate? Do that, and you'll see. And I did that, and I see, and things I need to work on. And you work on yourself, and that either you can fix your relationship, or you'll be, when you get into a new relationship, you'll know the things that you did wrong, you need to work on, personally. And it's just about looking inward and realizing that everything, even as far as weight loss goes, you tried a million diets and you're here now. It's not those diets' faults. It's, you failed along those steps of the way. So you realize that and take accountability, and you're ready to move forward.
Yeah, and I love that, because that brings me to like what we want to talk about next is obviously giving you guys some tips on how to, hold yourself accountable. But Jimmy, you said it best, man. And it's just like, think about it. If you're pointing the finger at somebody, right? Anytime you point the finger at somebody, well, you have three fingers pointing at you. And I think in today's society, right, a lot of guys have these big egos, right? And we think we know everything under the sun, but at the end of the day, like if we can't take ownership, if we can't take, commitment over our lives and admit when we're in the wrong, hey, how can we ever, find out a need to make a change? How can we ever get the help that we want? Right. I know a lot of guys that, they still think, oh, I'm just going to cut out carbs, or I'm just going to do intermittent fasting or endless amounts of cardio. And then what happens? Right. It's just like they do it. It's that shiny object syndrome. They have great results at first, and then eventually life throws them some curveballs. They fall off the wagon. They regain all that weight right back. And Albert Einstein said it best. The definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over again and expecting different results. Guys just need to understand, like, hey, this is your life, right? Like no one's going to make a fat loss pill and change it for you in a blink of an eye. It's kind of like playing the lottery, right? Even the people that win the lottery, what happens in the next 5 years? They end up, wasting away all their money because, as Mark said, they don't have the systems. They don't have the habits. So let's help our viewers and give them kind of some practical sense on what they could be doing to kind of help them out if they really need, help holding themselves accountable. And I think the best thing is to really make sure, once again, you're open-minded, but then also have something at all, whether that's a to-do list, whether that's an app, whether that's some kind of whiteboard even, or anything that's going to be that daily reminder of, hey, we're doing this for a specific reason. Now at Heartletics, obviously the guys use our app. We make things very simple for them in terms of like tracking and logging their foods. We have all their meal plans all laid out for them, all personalized. So it's very easy for them to do a click of a button and boom, they know what they're eating. It's logged. And us as coaches can hold them accountable to make sure they're eating the right things to burn body fat. Same thing with different habits. Like, Coach Brian or Coach Mark will create special habits that work best for these individuals on a personal note that, either for their occupation, either for, life at home, or just their overall lifestyle to get them one step closer to their goals. But anybody, right, could do something as simple as just like having a sticky, notepad somewhere where they can see it reminder like, hey, drink plenty of water, get some steps in, eat your protein, something like that. Be active. It's these different things that guys just need that remembrance that, hey, I should be focused on this, but they need to have that deep rooted why, right? Because a why is what's going to help you out. Remember, anybody can do anything when life's easy, when life's great, right? But that's not what life is. Life's going to throw curveballs. Life's going to throw stress, drama, injuries, adversity, anything like that your way. And knowing how to better prepare yourself and having that deep rooted why, that's what's going to help you build that discipline muscle and, help you get out of the bed, put one foot in front of the other. And I like using also Nakoma's story. He's a truck driver. He lost 50 pounds of fat in just 12 weeks, literally eating fast food, drinking alcohol. But the reason why he wanted to get signed up for Heartletics was at the end of the day, he has little daughters at home. He saw it as a long game, as, man, I got to make sure I'm doing the right things now so I can be there in the long run to walk my daughters down the wedding aisle. Now, when you have a deep-rooted why and you have that goal set up for success and you understand like, hey, it's supposed to be hard, life will throw you adversity, it's very easy to put one foot in front of the other and get one step closer to your goals. But as you guys know, right, like the biggest form when it comes down to accountability is having support, having guys in your corner. Jimmy, you talked about, utilizing the groups often on different podcasts, going through, problems at home with your relationship. Mark, same thing in terms of like, hey, feeding the bad wolf. Like, man, we had a day of whatever the case may be where, you have that sense of guys in your corner helping you out. Let's kind of talk a little bit more about that, for the listeners. Mark, why don't you go first, brother? How would you say community and support is one of the underlining keys and probably the fast track to better aiding somebody in their form of, holding themselves accountable?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like when I talked about that inner, accountability before, right? That's what kind of sets you off on that path. But most guys derail off that path because they don't have that kind of accountability behind them, right? You need that to keep you going. Motivation can be transitory. You can build it up and get all excited and start moving, but that can fade. So you need those guys in your corner to keep you, disciplined, because that's really what, motivation gets you started, but then discipline keeps you going.
Yes.
So when you have, something like our community groups behind us, in Heartletics, it's an amazing sense of community as far as, people, cheering you on, encouraging you, helping you when you have a problem. But then also we have our coaches, as a coach now, accountability is a large part of what I do, whether it's, when someone joins Heartletics, right, teaching them what their goals are and making it easy for them to reach those goals, showing them how to, easily track it and sustain it, in our apps and systems, or whether it's, following up with them, weekly, hey, you're doing great on your workouts, but you need some, extra protein or whatever it is that's going on with them that week that I can guide them on to, hey, if you're falling off completely, like, you have not done any of the things that we're asking you to do, we're going to reach out. It's a phone call, a message, whatever it is, to get in touch with you and say, hey, like, let's get you back in. We're here to make sure you hit your goals and not, veer off from us.
Yeah. Yeah. And Les Brown, he's a motivational speaker. He said it best. Birds of a feather flock together. Hang around with losers, you become a loser in life. Hang around with winners, you become a winner in life. And that's why we always tell everybody, like, the key to success at Heartletics is having that support system behind the community group. It's just like, think about like going out to war. Realistically, like, that's what it is. Everybody has the two different wolves, right? The good wolf and the bad wolf. Every day is a war, especially for men out there. Think about it. Like, we think that we can carry all the burdens, stress at work, stress at home, stress with our kids, pay the bills, right? Like all these different things to where we just get beaten down so much. And it's very easy for us to fall into temptation. right? It's very easy for us to not feed the good wolf and go back to our old ways. And whether that means being lazy and just sitting on the couch after a hard day at work, right? Because the bad wolf is telling you you earned it, you deserved it. Whether that's pushing things off to the side, like, oh, I'll get started next Monday, or I'll get started after the holidays. Or whether it's, oh, don't worry about tracking and trying to hit your protein goal, or, trying to drink plenty of water today and get your steps in. Like, it's okay to have a day off, It's these types of things that when you have guys in your corner really supporting you and feeding the good wolf, but plus you see all these guys that are no different from you and how easy they're able to make a change, not only in their mindsets, but their bodies, just by, listening to all the other guys and getting that help and support. It becomes easy for anybody. I always say it like this too, in the form of community and having that support. It's like going out to war. Nobody wants to go out to war all by themselves with a dinky little pistol. At the end of the day, you want to have a military behind you. You want to have, the tanks. You want to have, everybody behind you, that army, that fortress supporting you, because that's realistically what it is, especially if you're a man in today's society. Like, every day is a war zone. And knowing that you have people in your corner supporting you, fighting that battle alongside with you, it makes it so much easier. Why? You got confidence now, right? And that's something that most guys, they lack. I mean, you realistically, if you're the only guy on the island, and you know what they say, you only know what you know. So sometimes guys just need to wave the white flag and say, hey, I need help. Like, they got to take ownership. They got to take commitment over their life and just say, hey, I need help. I need to just get off this island. I can't do this all by myself. Jimmy, you talk a lot about accountability in terms of playing sports, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So how I like to look at it is, I played team sports from when I was very young till up into college. And one of the greatest things I feel about sports, or that I've taken away, is the relationships that you build. You're on a team with somebody at the beginning of the season. You decide to start playing the sport. You guys start training. You learn how to play together. You build that team atmosphere as you go into the season. And you go into the season, you have your ups, you have your downs. It's a long journey, and you make it to the end. So I like to look at it like this. We all decided to start this journey on our own, to make a difference in our life and be a better person. But when you start this journey, you start building relationships with a whole bunch of different kinds of people from different cultures. Everything's different, and you come together for a common purpose, and that's to improve yourself. But along the way, you're building such close relationships, brotherhoods. It's just like you're on a team with somebody. We get on Zoom chats, we talk here, bust each other's chops. But then when times it's serious, I know there's a bunch of times I reached out to you guys going through my relationship troubles when I'm having an off day or I'm angry, and I get on a call with Coach Mark, Coach Joe, and Coach Joe gives me a little slap into reality, get my head straight. And you need that. You need guys, that are going to tell you the truth. Is it really a friend if they're not going to be honest with you and set you straight? No, you want people in your life that are going to be honest with you and want the best for you. And like Coach Joe said, birds of a feather flock together, and we do that for each other. And that's the greatest part of all of this.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I always say it like this, man. A coach is going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, right? So many times guys just want a bunch of cheerleaders, right? Yes men in their lives, just always agree with them, but that doesn't make you any better, right? It's just like working on a muscle. Sometimes you need that stress, that adversity, right, to build you up and make you stronger in the end. And maybe that's this guys just hold out their hands, supporting you every step of the way. Let's do this as we wrap a close. Let's go around the room, right? I'll go, Coach Mark, you'll start. Coach Jimmy, you'll go next, and then I'll finish up. What would you tell somebody if, let's say, two things? Either one, somebody's on the fence listening to this, thinking about, hey, what is Heartletics all about? I just heard this whole podcast about accountability. They're kind of intrigued. And then also, what would you tell somebody else that, let's say, they sign up for, a discovery call, and either they're going to be speaking with, Coach Mark or Coach Jimmy directly, just seeing if, Heartletics is a good fit for them. Coach Mark, what would you tell these viewers?
So if you're, if you haven't scheduled a call and you're on the fence, let me just say that the call itself is an education. So there's no reason not to schedule a call, and find out more about us, more about yourself. Just, go to heartletics.com and schedule that call. It's easily the best decision I ever made. It changed my life in a million positive directions. And then if you have already made that call, or let me just, schedule that call, let me just say, I can't wait for one of us to speak to you. You're on an awesome path to changing, towards the best possible direction your life can have. And just, check out some of Coach Joe's podcasts, some of the videos out there, prior to that call, so that you kind of come in with as much education as possible, so that you are ready to, learn even more than what's in those videos, take it to the next level, and see if you're a good fit.
I love that. Coach Jimmy, what about you, brother?
Yeah, if you're thinking about scheduling a call, or you're just this is the first podcast you're watching, you don't know much about Heartletics, I would encourage you to, watch the podcast, get to know Heartletics, what we're about, watch the free fat loss guide. But what I'd like to tell you is, this is a program that's, yes, we want to help you lose fat and lose weight and all of that, but it's more than that. It's a community of a group of guys who love each other, who won't let you fail. And it's just something different than anything else that you will find out there. And you'll come to see that as you watch the podcast and see us interact with each other. If you've already scheduled a call, then, you probably have watched a few videos and things. And I would encourage you also to continue to watch the podcast and to go through, the videos, but also really before the call, really think about, your why. Why are you doing this? Other than obviously you want to lose weight and get healthy, but think about why, a little bit deeper, why you want that. And I'm excited for you that you're taking that step. That's the hardest step to take, is that first step into knowing you need to make a change, and you're making that step to do something. So keep the momentum going, have an open mind, listen, learn about Heartletics and what we do, and just take it all in and figure out your why. And can't wait to talk to you and get you on your journey.
I love that. I love that. And, I'll close things out with a mixture of both of those. So yes, if you're somebody that's, listening to this for the very first time, or you've been kind of hearing a little bit about Heartletics, hey, just go to heartletics.com. We have a free fat loss guide. You can download a free fat loss video that you can simply watch, going over our 7 essential fat loss habits for success. We've helped out thousands of guys, obviously just focusing on creating sustainable habits that work best for their busy lifestyles, to really make sure that they learn all the knowledge and tools of the trades to burn body fat and improve on their health. And then if you're somebody that has scheduled a discovery call, well, hey, you might be a little scared. You might be a little timid at first, right? Might be even nervous, but I think Jimmy said it best. Have that why, right? Like, Mark and Jimmy both said it, watch the rest of the videos, because when you learn about the testimonials and the other podcasts and see that these other guys are no different from you at all, it's going to give you that sense of inspiration, encouragement, but also have that deep rooted why, because that bad wolf, it's going to feed you so many lies. Oh, I can do this on my own, or, oh, I don't need a coach, or I don't need community, or I can just get started. Google's free, YouTube is free. But at the end of the day, you just got to be realistic with yourself. How long have you been struggling with this on your own for? How long do you want to continue to struggle on this on your own for? Because the minute that you wave the white flag, the minute that you take ownership and commitment and say, hey, I just need help, I need support, I need accountability, I need guys in my corner, I need that wolf pack, I need that sense of community, you're not going to go to war by yourself anymore. And it's going to make it so much easier and effortless for you to reach your goals once and for all, without having to worry about gaining all the weight right back, because you learn that knowledge. You learn how to create those sustainable habits that work best for your lifestyle. So guys, this has been the Heartletics podcast, and I appreciate everybody tuning in. And as always, peace out, Girl Scouts.